This day 662 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. This week's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored for a schus for Bani Chai Mizone for Yonasan Ezra Ben Chana Feigl. If you like sponsor coming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please come me directly. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Today we're supposed to be doing siman, Shin Tzadik Gimel Hey to Shin Tzadik Vav ways, but we did Shin Tzadik Gimel Hey yesterday in order to finish up a siman. So we're starting now from Shin Tzadik Dalid Aleph. Din Shin Tzadik Dalid. Din Safik Eruv. Aleph. Safik Eruv. Going to Nech Eruv Nechal. Safik Eruv says you left the put down the Eruv and you got eaten. Safik Mibod Yom Nechal Ve'enu Eruv. It's not sure if it's eaten from before Shabbos and it's not an Eruv. Safik Shecha or from after Shabbos it was eaten after Shabbos began and Va'av Eruv and is Eruv. Chuma. And if you put down chumar for it, and it became tummy, something about yom eat mace. It's not sure if it became clear if it became tummy about yom, and therefore it's not a valid Arab. So shecha, or after it became dark, valid Arab, then it is a valid Arab. Checha yetzibzen also other also is fakus amina suffix Arab kasha. We say a suffix Arab is kasha. Dafka b'chaygam shel Arab cheskes kashus kina chazakas. Specifically, where of course where the Arab had cheskes kashus is done the proper way. So they say. That the chazaka continues. But if there's no cheskes kashus, going suffix you're not sure if you did an Erev or not. Or niach chuma, you put the use chuma and suffix tamei or suffix turn not sure if it's tamei at the time you did it. Or suffix chuma, suffix tevel, you're not sure if it's chuma or tevel, etc. Lord me we don't say suffix that we're not lenient in such cases such as suffix. Laughing. So there's an opposing chazaka. Such as use chuli from a chuma meiser has been taken. But you're not sure if it was taken from before Shabbos, in which case the Erev is valid, or after nightfall, in which case it's not valid. I mean, in that case, you have to put it in. You have to assume it has the cheskas tevel, which it previously had. Based how much level of shachar must kula. So Arukh HaShulchan gives a very fundamental principle here about Savik to Rabbanan Kula. You always say to speak to Rabbanan Kula when the thing was done, the matter was taken care of. But there's a suffix as the whether what happened. I mean, Yesh Savik now selling a couple. The suffix the thing was done at all. The matter was taken care of. All the Shalom Rabbanan Kula can't say Savik to Rabbanan Kula. So if that's the case, why if you put it that main air banish much is kosher high, the suffix it was done properly or not. There also the air was made. Suffix was mine. There's a suffix whether this is the proper time. So the suffix is like a suffix kitzoni, whether the time was the right time or not. The ma'isa was the proper ma'isa. But if there's a suffix, it was done all together, then you can't say suffix Erev Kosher. So the suffix, they use Truma, which is Tomei or Tor. Have a suffix, it's like the suffix when you made it all together. Have a Klahuna. So it's Truma Tomei as if it's not, wasn't placed. As opposed to suffix when it became Tomei. From during the daytime or after nightfall, or something but yom suffix when it's eaten during the day. There vadai have the air vadai, where the air was definite. There vadai have was a definite air. Mukmina chazaka. We put on the chazaka but yom it's a vadai ruya. That for Shabbos is definitely suitable. Of air being a suda yom and of course by air require the suda which is right from before Shabbos begins. Kimmel, Tertia, Air Ben Ashmash, the Malcolm Shoy Little. The Air Ben Ashmash has to be a place where you can take it. Enough of love Gal for the avalanche fell upon it. Ben Yochel Little, you can't take it out without a shovel and a pick. Tavi is to the Raisa, which is the Raisa to do, and no air if it's not a proper air. But Shochel Little, it is the Rabbanan, but if you can get to it through an is the Rabbanan, have air, that's okay. The Chol Devashim Mishum Shvus, logos Le Ben Ashmash, because no, is the Rabbanan applies, well, for the reason. I guess. Well, technically, no, there are no Yisur Rabbanan bein hashmashos. Welcome tzas mitzvah or tzar gadol, where it's a place where it's a tzar mitzvah or tzar gadol. K'mo shesam v'sim shin men beis. V'yinasu b'migdal. Therefore, he put it in a closet and he locked the door. And the key got lost before nightfall. If it's not possible to move there without a malachat daraisa ben hashmashos, it's like the Arab is lost. It's not about Arab. So because you can't eat it. Yochel say that Yisra Rabbanim, you can take it after Yisra Rabbanim. Mutter mitam shizbar, it's permissible because of the reason, as we explained, of the no shus ben hashmashos from Makom Mitzvah. A Torah's fairly the mysterious oel, I feel it's the Rabbanim laveir. But the Torah holds that if it's necessary to break down an oel to get to the Erev, even though it's the Rabbanim, it's not a valid Erev. The mysterious oel mechsik the Raisa, because being an oel looks like the Raisa, but tzarchi. I'm not sure, Arukh HaShulchan is not sure about this. And if the key was in a place where ben hashmashos could have brought it without malachat daraisa, have an Erev, it's an Erev, even though it wasn't biyado during ben hashmashos, came shemotzu shim tzenu. Since it was likely that I would find it, though you weren't holding your hand, you usually find lost objects, have a kilo biyado ben hashmashos. If it's biyado ben hashmashos. Mr. Bura writes that that it has to be Mr. Bura writes that it has to be that you have to have the key. You left the key before ben hashmashos. Oh, well, no, never mind. Okay, that's not important. It's just confusing. Okay. The Erev only has to be intact for ben hashmashos. The Avogav the Erev Mishum Dira, even though Erev is because of a dwelling, but Dira call Yom Shabbos, and the dwelling is for Shabbos. The primary Dira is ben hashmashos. When the Erev takes effect, the Kaimal and Tchilas Yom Shabbos. And the Erev takes effect at the beginning of Shabbos. So therefore, when it's definitely nightfall, you can be sure eat Erev. Because you should make a mitzvah on it, Shabbos Shachris. Those should ask about mitzvahs Erev, since you do mitzvah Erev, then you ask about mitzvah Acheres. Do another mitzvah with it, leave Toah, Shabbos, use it for the Sudah Shabbos, and take a motzi on it. That's when they made that they used to eat the evening meal before Shabbos begins. I would say this is, but by us, we should already eat it during the nighttime. That nighttime meal, when if you're eating after taste. Shabbos, of course, it's only make Erev Shabbos. That's not our minhag. The Tov Yosef Erev Kol Shana, we make an Erev, especially Erev for the entire year. Ayin Sham. The Mishnah Berurah writes that there shouldn't be a shus rami between the place where the key is and the place where the closet is. And even though it's shus rami, there's a way to the eitzah to take less than 4 amos. Nevertheless, this shvus they were not matir for Makom Erev. I'm not sure if HaShulchan agrees. Mishnah Berurah writes that you can also eat at night, as we said. Nevertheless, it's best to use the chakras because sometimes it's going to eat at night before nightfall. How do you bake the Erev, and what bracha do you make on it? Aleph, mitzvah l'achzor achei shitivim vos k'mo Arukh HaShulchan. It's a mitzvah to make shitivim vos, just like Arukh HaShulchan. They should kosher level they isur tiltu b'Shabbos lamovi. They shouldn't come to the stumbling block of carrying on Shabbos into the street. Mekabetz pas, you collect bread or shardom and kol ba'albatim, or for shitim for anything else from all the ba'albatim. Sheba movi in the street. Oshim mezaklem. We bestow ownership to them in it by via another person. Also, that person might be a tefach, lifts it up a tefach, v'zocha about komnei movi, and is zocha in the air for all the members of the movi. Baruch Hashem Kishonu, v'chlei Shmita Seir makes the bracha and mitzvah Seir. Avgav now according to this shituf, even though we call this shituf, zelakir b'no bein Arukh HaShulchan, k'mosh chasam reish tumim shin pei vav, in order to distinguish between Arukh HaShulchan, avol etzem Hashem Erev. but the fundamental name is Eruv. Shema'ari l'chol b'nei Mavi, and it collects together, mixes together all the people of the Mavi, Shedur Makamecha, to live in the same place. V'omri, therefore say, B'hodin Eruva, not B'hodin Shituf. This Eruv Yeshar Lon l'chol b'nei Mavi, you bring it to us to all people in the street, Afugei Ulim Echatzeros Mavi, to take out and bring in from the Chatzeros to the Mavi, the Chatzeros, and vice versa. Vati, and also the Vatim, Mibatim Chatzeros, the Mavi, including all the areas. So let's get back. You have to mention houses. Because today we learn the Shitub in lieu of an Eruv. And certainly for us to only make an Eruv of one Eruv for the entire city. But here, let's say it's Chilamar. For us, therefore, we have to say from the houses to the Chatzeros and to the streets and to the marketplaces. Or Azos for, and from them back to Chatzeros Batim for us, and all the people live in this city. When you make this bracha, when you collect the bread from the people in Movi, and if one person bestowing that upon them, you make the bracha at the time you're Mazaka. Meaning not previously. But you can make the bracha after you collect as well. It's a general principle that brachos are not impediment for the procedure to be effective. So therefore they collect for the purpose they have a shochem and they've forgotten to make a bracha or love on it, and bracha makev, the bracha is not an impediment. But the near lead, amiras baderu makev, you have to say the nusach, the formula. Okay, my nikah shuer is erev. Otherwise, what's making this into an erev, instead of both the collection of bread? After achafim again, shamash ma'arev mimatzos mihakol. Because I make that the shamash makes the erev from the matzos of belongs to the congregation. And we bestow ownership on these matzahs to all the people of the city. And they'll say based on Knesses, and he puts it in the shul. There's a heker gadol. There's a great recognition that there's something going on here. Shizarev does gam amiras b'hadein ermakim. It's chiddush. So you don't have to say the b'hadein eruva. And it seems the Mishabur seems to agree with that. It seems he says that even in a place where it isn't such a big, not so nicker like the public place in the shul. Back to the brackets of they used to gather flour from the house. The shamash offer man eruv, and the shamash would bake from that flour for eruv. And he would eat the rest above the yudches grogros. Ain't no eruv in shachul varech, but in this scenario, it's not if they forgot that the bracha came in the enkan zikui, the lo shakum nichnas ve'eru, because there is no zikui. I guess not being mazaka because he collected, and at the same time, not everyone is in the eru because he ate some of it. The Taz disagrees because everybody gives a bit of the flour that everybody should be zoching in, and therefore all the flour is mutually owned. We don't do it that way nowadays, anyways. Hadron Aloch. And now we go on to Hilchot Tchumen. Shin Tzad Vav Shkodem Yeshel Arba Amos b'Shabbos. Every person has 4 amos on Shabbos. Av Kodem Yeshel Tchum Shabbos Ulevad Tchum. Every person has Tchum Shabbos 2,000 amos. And besides the Tchum, Vafim Moshiach Chutz Tchum, everybody goes. Even go outside the Tchum. You know 4 amos. Tanishvu Ish Tachtov. Well, actually, even if we went outside the Tchum, has 4 amos. Tanishvu Ish Tachtov. Everybody should sit underneath him. Betachtov, in the mount underneath him. Midos Shalom, that's the measure of a person. Poshet Yodav Ragav, who extends his hands and feet. And Moshe told them, to those who went outside the Tchum to collect the mon, this notion of Shvu Ish Tachtov. I know he said that to them when they went out to collect the mon, but that's what the Torah says. So now they're outside the Tchum, and they had 4 amos. Measure each person according to his own amos, but not necessarily. If he's very short-limbed, that's an 4 amos of an average person. So I guess for Og Melech HaBash, you give more of that. For his body said Shin Mem Tes. They are expansive and not contractive. the fingers spread apart, but not tight together. Also, Mishin Sam Gilbus Lam Basif Lamadal, Banner Tamish Ladavar, I Yain Shum. Look there for the reason. Mishnah says when you Mishnah says these amos, whether you're using a person's own amos or the 4 amos benios, they're all muruvachos. And he says that the muruvachos means 2 etzbos more than daled amos. So in an amos there are 6 tvachim. 6 tvachim times 4 etzbos. So the 24 times 4, 96 etzbos in a normal in an amos. So you get 2 more, 98 etzbos, if I'm making the math correctly. Base. The Rebbe says you only have 4 amos with you in the middle. Klomar 2 amos each side. Whereas up is actually 4 amos charuch, you have 4 amos each side. Vein shmona shmona, which is 8 by 8. Find me lalech, that's the carry. I will talta ein lo daled. I'm sorry, that's to walk. But the carry you only have 4. Akam l'shono. I will ram a based into the zov kasam sheish lo 4 amos shomei b'tzidon. And 4 amos standing next to him. Achar kasam dima yu b'shnayim. There are 2 people. Mixed style amos shazen nichas toch shel zeh b'chuei. And the amos overlap. Hayu shlosha, the 3 v'emtzoi move from beinam. Ayin sham, and the 3rd one is overlaps out of 2. The hengas will tuber shulchan le'el siman shim tes. They lost relay do b'emtzon, so clearly he's not in the middle. They can only mishkal so shem tzoi yivla b'einam, because then it's not possible for the middle one to overlap with both of them. So the Yeshua Arba Amos is at such here. He's got 4 amos, whatever side he wants. If he's the Yeshua Spala Tuba Ramah, Ben Ramah Sheviu Dvarav. They brought down the Ramah, low Svilu came, they don't seem to hold that way. So no Bemis Lusfir Karif El Kurazah. I have to say, don't hold like the Rif, and that's only 2 amos each side, like Razah, 4 amos each side. Razah Svilu do Bem Tzon, and Razah holds he's not in the middle of the 4 amos, but he's in the middle of the 4 amos. Some say anyway the Rif didn't mean that to say what they seem to say that he says. And the Rabbi Paskins give him 4 amos on each side, and he's in the middle as well. Now we're supposed to stop here, but again, there was only 1 sif left in the siman, so let's do sif gimel. Kamakam amukaf ladira, any place which is enclosed for a habitation. Chashkar amos. So it's like 1 big 4 amos. He was there when Shabbos begins, Hannah Bechnisas to Shabbos, Mutalech Kamokum as they can call this entire place. I feel go harbor even if it's very large. So if Shabbos again is in a city which is enclosed by wall, I feel Gdol Kantioche, if it's a massive size like Antiochus, or his Malachas school can walk the entire city. Then look at that it's only 4 amos. And that's even if nobody's living there anymore, it's a ruined city. If it's not close to the purpose habitation, but it's a place in and of itself, such as a large mound, or or a karpa, which wasn't enclosed to the purpose of habitation, but it has walls, or kama kitsura, or you have harvested grain, you're surrounded by stalks, and you weave them with sticks or twigs, that they shouldn't shake the wind. Less than a base of sign, or base of sign, precisely a base of sign. And the whole area is like 4 amos. That's a base of sign, but it's 1 base of sign in the car path in little arbamos. You only have 4 amos. The Mishnah adds the same is true by a depression in the ground, which is from 4 amos to base of sign. It's all considered to be 4 amos for this purpose of movement on Shabbos.